Hey.
Hi, welcome back. Today's Friday the 3rd. Happy May.
Happy May. Did you say rabbits 2 days ago?
I did say rabbits, yes.
Good for
2 days
you.
ago, and Cindy Lloyd reminded me, so thank you for that.
Good for you.
Some people get up and they jump around like in a clockwise circle on one foot. Yeah,
People
it's
are
pretty,
so weird.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. It's all the luck in the world, right? So we're back.
Okay.
And we've got some news. And I think we're going to pivot right to you, man.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to talk about
I want to
things.
thank everybody. You can't see it out there in TV land, but the room's set up still with an oval in the middle and chairs along the side. We had a really great listening session last night for the police department building project. I would say there was 20 people here-ish?
I took notes. Yeah, there were, I think it was 17 and 6. So 17 people who had been on the field trip spoke. Well, a lot of people, everybody was welcome to speak, and then 6 people who spoke that weren't on the field trip.
Yeah, but that was the gist of it. Was the ad hoc committee made up of Councilmember Barron and Mayor Potter wanted to get the feedback from those that went on the tour. Most people only went to the Carmel building, but some went to Salinas as well.
2 intrepid spirits that stayed till the bitter end.
That's right. So we got that feedback last night, which was great. Talked a little bit about next steps as well. And as it turns out, I'm hearing from the community last night, one of the things we thought we were going to do next was bring in the architect team, all the professionals with Indigo, and have a conversation with the community. But what the community wants to do, what we're going to pivot to next, is having a conversation with our professionals, Chief Tomasi and members of his staff. So sometime in the next month, we'll have a meeting with the community here, same forum, to go through the list. So there's already a list that exists. If you go to the police building website, there's already a list of needs that exists, that was created as part of a 70+ page report that Indigo did. That's one of the things that we've paid for already. And it's a list of needs of a new police department. And so the community would like to just go through that list with the chief and some of his staff to talk about that. And so that's what the next meeting will be. If you're not signed up right now, if you go to our city's homepage at the very bottom, there's a button that says sign me up. You can sign up for numerous things. You've had at some point probably did that to sign up for this goofy thing that we do every Friday. But one of the things you can sign up for is the police building project. So sign up and we'll send out notices of when that's going to happen. We'll use the regular forums as well. We'll post it in the boxes, Friday letter, all that stuff. But you can sign up for updates for this project. So
and all the documents are on the website. So we have a specific web page dedicated to the police department project.
That's right. You just go to the homepage for the city, select the police department, you can select which department you want to go to, and it's right there.
And all the documents are there.
That's correct.
So this elusive, where are the prior plans? They're all there.
That's right.
That's all we have.
Yep.
And just to reiterate, Indigo is an architectural firm that focuses on public buildings.
Specializes, it's what they do.
Specializes in police departments. So, and again, whether they're big or small or somewhere in between, that's what they do, and they tailor obviously the design to a community's needs. And that's the kind of the process that we're in right now. And that next meeting, which will probably be about a month from now, we'll focus on the professionals' needs. What does a police officer need in terms of a facility and space to help protect the village?
That's right. Well, speaking of protecting the village, I love a good pivot. This week also, we had our mock city council meeting with our friends at the Carmel High School with the leadership team. Mrs. Powers and her wonderful students were down here. We've done this our 3rd year in a row. The students learn pretend how to be a city council member or a department head or a city manager or a city attorney. That would be the best job in the world, wouldn't it? And then they are presented with a scenario where there's a $315,000 budget surplus. And each department head has to make a pitch for a project or something that would benefit the village. And it was great. I mean, it's always great. This week was no exception. You can go back. We recorded it just like a normal city council meeting.
We recorded last night as well. So.
That's right. Thank you for that. Going back to the police department ad hoc meeting, we did record that as well. But, the kids did a great job. It was a lot of fun. We were out of here in a couple hours. I feel like they learned. I was very impressed by the questions. And the answers. So the department heads were answering questions from city council. I was very impressed by the questions. Everybody took it really seriously. We had some fun too, some goofy questions by us department heads. We pretended to be members of the public, and But for the most part, it was very serious, and they did a good job. And they were presented with a slate of projects, and they used their minds and figured out how to keep some of the surplus for the city, which made you really happy.
Very happy.
That's right. You're fiscal conservative, and they were able to fund most of the projects that came in front of them. So for the greater good of the city. So it was wonderful. Kudos to all the kids.
And Miss Powers, their teacher,
absolutely,
did a great job.
Absolutely, and Nova Romero here at the city was instrumental in getting that off the ground as well. That's what I got.
That's what you got. I do want to hear, I know you know your Latin very well, so I want to talk about ad hocs in a minute. But I wanted to briefly talk about, we have our May council meeting coming up next week, Monday and Tuesday. Monday consists of the consent agenda and several closed session topics that we have, and those are listed, obviously. Some labor negotiations and potential litigation. And then Tuesday really is kind of the big show. We're going to be presenting the fiscal year 24-25 budget.
Recommended budget. So this is just the first pitch of the budget. We're going to have a study session on May 21st. So in a couple of weeks on that topic. It's an incredible budget. It's a $31 million operating budget. $12 million in capital work for a total of about $43 million. We're 1 square mile, 3,022 people. We had a slight population increase last year. And $10,000 per resident on average. So we'll also talk about discretionary grants. That's the money the council allocates to nonprofits, local nonprofits. We'll talk about our fee schedule and what it costs to get a building permit or a tree removal permit. That's always pretty lively. We also have an initial discussion about a potential transit occupancy tax increase. So right now our TOT is 10%. Most surrounding agencies, Monterey and Pacific Grove, et cetera, are at 12%. Monterey County is at 10%, but they too are looking at a TOT increase, and so this will be the first discussion. No decisions about whether the council wants to put that item on the ballot for this year, and if they don't do it this year, that has to be in every 2 years, so an even-yeared election, a general election. So that'll be an initial discussion. And then one of the items that we had regarding the housing element last month, was additional outreach and education. Now that more people are familiar with the housing element through the great work of staff and the Pine Cone, et cetera. And our ad hoc committee.
Well, clearly our ad hoc, that's us, right? That's the us, the greater us, is readdressing commercial property owners, business owners, institutions of faith about their willingness to build affordable units on their properties. So again, that is something that the entire council voted for. That was a motion by Councilmember Dramoff. So again, it's not like we did this before. We've done this a couple times, but I think the argument that, and this comes from Councilmember Dramoff, that more people are more familiar with the topic. Hopefully we've piqued their interest, and when we do our individual meetings with these folks, on a one-on-one basis, we can maybe engender some. Yeah,
it's definitely a worthwhile conversation to have again.
Yeah, and some other things. So again, Tuesday will be it's a full slate. It'll be a good meeting. So, and then we've talked numerous times about ad hoc, which in Latin means
for this
a specific topic. 2 members of council or a commission. And public members are not permitted by state law to actually sit on an ad hoc committee.
That's right.
They're invited to come to many of the meetings,
but they may not be invited. And that's where the ad hoc committee is unique in that because it's only 2 members, it's actually not subject to the Brown Act,
right,
which is our state's open meeting law. Every state in the union has an open meeting law. Ours is called the Brown Act.
Yeah.
They certainly do invite members of the public, but the reason for an ad hoc is to let 2 members of a legislative or decision-making body work with staff to, kind of like come up with some ideas and thoughts, throw some spaghetti on the wall before they come back to the public and the bigger decision makers with recommendations and suggestions. So it doesn't muddy the waters and waste a bunch of time basically. But there's no decisions made by ad hoc committees. No. They have zero decision-making authority. and they can be a very useful tool. And our ad hoc committees are aware and are balancing the desire for the public to get involved in them. So you'll see them evolving continually, I believe, of how many times there are public meetings with the ad hoc committee before there's a meeting with the bigger, city council or planning commission.
Yeah, and Mayor Potter speaks passionately about that. Sometimes, again, you need to determine what questions you're going to ask prior to meeting with the public. But I would argue, Brandon, that in excess of 85-90% of ad hoc committee meetings are open to the public. But they do have those little strategy meetings, sometimes just with us, to talk about the topic prior to trotting it out with the public. But again, you hit the nail on the head. No decisions are made, but it does create a subset of the council that become subject matter experts, that when a decision comes to the full council, they can speak about the process they've been through and speak to the recommendation if there is one.
Nailed it. Sounds like you know all about this stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, going to rain tomorrow a little bit. We're not anticipating any impacts, but if there are, we'll be here.
Totally ready. And take good care.